What do you think engagement and success in the arts actually does in terms of strengthening our culture, who we are as Canadians?
Your question just then included the word engagement and what the arts can do to strengthen Canada, our unity. And I think the key there is the word engagement. That's what artists do. They engage in a conversation with the public, and that's so important. It may be cliche to say it's more important now than ever, but I really believe it is, because I love this country. It's been my subject matter, and I'm passionate about it, and I love it, and it's important to love your subject matter. But I have always felt, as a federation, it's incredibly vulnerable and weak. And, every 5 years things shift, and there's another looming unity crisis. And right now in 2019, I think we're facing another one. And so anything at all that strengthens the federation or reminds Canadians or educates Canadians about one part of Canada versus another part is incredibly important. And I think the arts does that in a way that not a lot of institutes do. I think the Tragically Hip has done more for Canadian unity than a lot of other endeavors that were designed to, support Canadian unity, like the sponsorship program or whatever it was. I think the Hip did a better job. I just think the arts are incredibly important. It's Canadians talking to one another, and anything we can do to allow people from one part of the country to understand, have an insight into another part of the country is so very important. One of the biggest problems in our country, we're so big, there's so few of us. People in the West have assumptions about people in the East. People in the East say things about people in the West, and they've never been there, which is fine, because it's a big country and not everyone can just flit about the country. But it's not knowing people from other parts of the country that lead to a lot of our problems. And I think the arts is a way that we can all get to know one another.
I love that you used, was it your last rant or one of your last rants where you talked about go see Canada?
Yeah, after 15 years of ranting, and then I was faced with, it's an hour-long special, and the very final rant, I'm sure there'll be more rants, and I thought, oh my gosh, what's it going to be? And I didn't think it was appropriate to rant about politics that week, because I thought it had to be more evergreen. So I absolutely talked about that, getting out and traveling in Canada, because the greatest thing that happened in my life, and I didn't expect it because I desperately wanted a creative career, but I didn't realize that would involve traveling nonstop for 15 years and getting to know every nook and cranny of the country. But I think that's the greatest thing that has ever happened to me. And I wish everyone could do it, but I know that's impossible. People just can't drop everything and travel professionally for 15 years. That's just never going to happen. But people can make it a priority to travel in their own country. And that can mean visiting the Maritimes for the first time, or it can also mean just getting 2 hours out of your neighborhood. And so if I had one wish for the country, that would certainly be it, because I think that would also go a long way towards making the country a stronger place. Also, it's incredibly cool. It's a very good country that way, and so it's a good time as well. It's not like school. It's not like medicine. Right. Go visit Canada. No, it's good, and good for you.
We tie ourselves up in knots trying to figure out what is Canadian about us. What's your view on that?
One of the things that certainly makes Canada unique is that we ask the question, what does it mean to be Canadian? Other countries don't do that. I think if you Google, what does it mean to be Australian or Danish, I don't think those questions are asked by those people, whereas we ask them over and over again. Every generation gets tied up. There was a Royal Commission that looked into the question of what does it mean to be Canadian. They produced 18 volumes and didn't answer the question. So I thought, when the Mercer report started, I thought, I'm going to answer that question. And I thought, I'll need a year or two. And then 3, 4, 5, 6. And then eventually I kind of stopped asking the question. But I did come to the conclusion that in my entire life, I've never figured out what does it mean to be Canadian. But I do know I've never, ever wanted to be anything else, which might be an answer in itself. Not sure.